Hello, everybody. Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. I think it was episode 278. All right, today we're going to be talking about the Tokugawa Heavy Tank. It's a wheeled vehicle. Comes in at 60 tons. It's a 4.60. Yeah, usually they're like the Kaga. It has jump jets, but not hardly any of these other. You very, very seldom outside of Starlink. Has 10 heat sinks, which means it has a fusion engine, which means it can throw some energy weapons on board. And it has 168 points of armor, which is 10.5, which is pretty respectable for when it comes to a vehicle. You know, when you got 40 points of armor on the front slope, you can take a couple AC 20s, almost 3. Well, you can take 2 or 4 PPCs, standard PPCs, AC-10s, etc. So it can take a bit of a pounding. Now, the interesting thing is weapons for a system that, well, this vehicle was designed and came out in the late, I think it was 30 or 30, 40, somewhere near 30, 39, something like that. Let me check here if it does say 40. First appeared in 48. Okay. All right, so it has 2 medium pulse lasers in the front slope. It has an AC-10 in the turret with 3 tons of ammo. So it's LBX-10 actually. Well, they originally had an AC-10, then they put an LBX in it. 3 tons of ammo, more than enough. So you're looking at, you can carry around, 2 cluster munition tons or 2 solid and a cluster. Typically, I'd probably run 2 the cluster because that'd be more what I'm using more often than not. It has an SRM-6 in the turret with an Artemis fire control system and 2 tons of ammo. I'm like looking at that going, I don't know if that's a really great thing to do, but hey, it is what it is. It's a lot of tonnage wrapped up in other things. So, the Tokugawa. What do I think of it? Well, as a wheeled vehicle, it's pretty slow. Basically, it kind of relegates itself to a city fighter. It's one of those vehicles that can run around with your slow-moving medium and heavy mechs, or even assault mechs for that matter, and adding some firepower to the mix. So, in that aspect, not bad. Now, the weaponry, as much as I like the idea of pulse weapons, inner sphere pulse weapons with their short range, you basically are getting up on top of somebody to be able to even use them. But you do have that capability of at least trying to hit, so it kind of negates your flank speed, or when you have to get out there and move, because this thing only moves 6, so that kind of negates your movement penalty, at least for you. Now, when it comes to the ammo on board, really an SRM-6, 30 shots. The life expectancy of this vehicle is probably not even that long, so you're probably better off with just 1. But what are you going to do with that extra ton other than add maybe a half-ton machine gun ammo and a machine gun someplace for some more anti-infantry work? Because right now it's like this thing can fall prey to infantry, because, well, a vehicle needs some type of anti-infantry type of capability, because more often than not, they have a tendency to fight in cities, and if you got weapon systems that are short range like they have, you're going to fall prey to infantry more often than not. So, yeah, it's like you want something to at least mow them down. Now, the LBX. Well, you're looking at a weapon system that has a range of your standard PPC with the ability to use cluster munitions. Wow, it's a cluster of musicians over there playing. Yeah, I like the LBX. It works really good on vehicles, and it does work good on this one. You get a lance of these guys, or working together with something else that has similar capability of that has. All right, the way I look at this, if you're running a lance of these, 4 of them, 2 or 3 of them might be using solid shot, and the third one will use cluster munitions to follow up. Or all 4 of them, if you're facing off against vehicles, I am using 100% cluster munitions against vehicles, because you're getting motive hits. You know, you can turn, let's say, this 4/6 moving vehicle into a pillbox where it's not moving. So when it's fixed like that, yeah, it's still considered having, since it's active, it's not a mobile target, but you just negated all of its capability of maneuver. So it's fixated. So if you get outside its 18 range with that LBX cannon, you could pound one of these things into a scrap heap with LRMs or something like, or even ER weapons like PPCs can pound them down pretty quickly. So that's the good thing about having an LBX on board. So you hit your targets and just cluster munition, crit, and you can take them down pretty quickly into just an immobile object. Now, but I've already said what I felt about the medium pulse lasers. I think you've been better off just throwing. All right, let's just talk about how I would change this thing. Would be take the 2 medium pulse lasers, replace them with 2. Heck, you could almost replace them with 2 ER medium lasers. Get yourself a little bit more range, and then you save yourself 2 more tons, and you could drop 1 ton of SRM ammo and the Artemis fire control system, and give yourself 2 SRM-6s. 1 on each side of the turret, and then still have an extra ton left over that maybe keep that extra ton of ammo. So ton of for each one. So yeah, things to think about. Yep. You won't have the Artemis fire control system, but hey, you got 2 weapon systems. Now, or the other one I always look at is get rid of the 2 medium pulse lasers, 2 medium lasers, add a flamer for some anti-infantry work. Maybe throw it out the back deck or in the turret, and then you can also toss on a machine gun with a half ton of ammo. Either or, it works out about the same. But at least with the flamer, you can light things on fire, burn things out of buildings, that kind of thing. So that's kind of like how I look at it. And you're still with that extra 2 tons. Well, when you drop the 2 medium lasers, you still get, like I said, you get that ton extra. You can give yourself a machine gun and put that in a turret with a half ton of ammo. So there. So you got a flamer and a machine gun. That really takes care of its infantry problem real quick, because when you got that kind of capability, a machine gun and a flamer, infantry will be like, oh no, I don't think so. You can toast a platoon of infantry really quick with those 2 weapon systems added together. Yep, there. And you still have some short range weapon systems. So there's some options there. Now, when it comes to variants of this vehicle, the Tokugawa, there is a few. Did I ever say what it's like battle value is running around 900? That's kind of respectable for something that's capability. Now, there is a more primitive version, which is more or less the original version. Well, I don't know why they call it primitive, more primitive, but it's the original one that was originally designed. Just has an AC-10, has an SRM launcher, a single machine gun mounted where the lasers would normally. So it has an internal combustion engine, machine gun, AC-10, SRM-6, and it comes in around 700 battle value. So that isn't bad. It can get the job done. And before the advent of lots of fusion reactors to throw into vehicles, totally makes sense. So you could take that version, and if you had it, one of those, you could just take the LBX cannon and replace the auto AC-10, and you're going a similar route that you had before, but with a little more range and capability. Then, sorry, this COVID thing is still hasn't gotten away. Then you have the Tokugawa 151 version. All right, this one replaces the AC-10 with a pair of AC-2s with 2 tons of ammo. So now you have an SRM-6 machine gun, single machine gun, and 2 SRM or AC-2s. So you got some range with it. It's almost like they were trying to give yourself some anti-air capability in some ways for long-range distance sniping. So definitely the AC-2s are not going to really, they're not going to do a lot of damage. It's just trying to get motive hits or knock out at long range VTOLs. Yeah, that's it. Then we got the C3 Slave version. All right, this is the upgraded version of the original design. Drops the autocannon 1 ton of ammunition for a C3 Slave computer system to link in. So obviously, if you got a slave, you got to have a master in the lance. So yeah, that's can easily you can easily have one with a master unit, because when you look at the SRM-6 with the ammo on board, yeah, you drop the SRM-6. Not that I'm really a big fan of that, but you end up that right there is 6 tons. You can replace the that with a master unit. You still have a ton left, so you can still put a machine gun with a half ton of ammo on board and replace at least where the SRM is. So you got at least something for anti-infantry work, close work. So yeah, it's like then you can have a whole lance of these guys linked together, and it's not the slave version isn't losing any capability. You know, it's like, oh, you go from 3 tons to 2 tons of ammo, so you got 1 ton of each type of munition. So yeah, it's actually, you could have a self-contained unit that somebody's going to get in there close, obviously, but you're using someone, unless they have the ECM, but you're able to hit a little bit better. All right. Obviously, the master unit's going to have to kick back a little bit farther. So, but that's something you can look at. And then we have the Streak version. Okay, after the Clan Wars, they exchanged the SRM-6 and Artemis fire control for a Streak 6 launcher, and alongside a small pulse laser and a turret. And the ammunition and missile launcher stores have been reduced by a ton to make way for the heavier equipment. Oh, gee, that sounds like something similar to what I was talking about. It's just a logical thing. And to be honest, when you go from an Artemis system with 2 tons of ammo, you go to a Streak system with 1 ton. The nice thing about Streak, that 15 shots that you have with that launcher for the ammunition actually can last you a long time, because you don't necessarily, try to fire it, but it doesn't fire it. You don't use any ammo. So in the long term, yeah, you can go a long time with just that 1 ton. So there. Then we have the MRM. Let's go with a Deadfire 30 rack. So yeah, replace the LBX 10 with a 30 rack with 3 tons of ammunition. Also added a tag system. Now that's another thing you could do. If you have that extra ton, you could put tag on board to help you with artillery and the other ones, instead of adding a machine gun, if you want to go that route. So there. Tag isn't a bad deal. Now with the 30 rack, it's like, obviously with the MRMs, it's like, yeah, you have a tendency to, you get the problems with that. It comes with the MRMs, but what they do hit, ouch. Yeah, they can really punch a hole, but it comes in around 950 battle value. All the other ones have, Streak version comes around 900. The Slave version comes around just close to 900, under 900. The primitive AC2 version comes around $650, and then obviously the 150 version with the standard from way back in days around $700. Then we have the SD2 version. This is a limited production run. For security purposes, it trades the standard munitions for a turreted Ultra AC-10 with 3 tons of ammo, which now you do need the 3 tons because you're going to burn through it. And then it has 2 Streak 4s and a front-mounted flamer. And it has an anti-missile system and ferrofibrous armor for added protection. It comes around a little over $700. Actually, that's not a bad version when you come to think about it. I'd still rather have the LBX-10 instead of the Ultra, because I'm not a big fan. It's like you're going to use up double the ammo for the less around a 50% chance of hitting again with the second shot. Yeah, some people will say, oh, with the LBX and cluster munitions, you're still rolling a second time. Yes, but, you know, I hit. I'm not using double the ammo, so double the fun. All right, so that is the Tokugawa. What do I think? Not a bad little wheeled vehicle. It has some capabilities that can be used on the battlefield to a good effect for the Draconians combined. I can understand a lot of the designs that they have are good against clan, and if you're facing more against battle armor, I can see where the pulse lasers are going to be more useful. Okay, makes sense. But that's not the only front they may have. You know, it's like you're fighting in the periphery. You may be on the other side, getting way where the clans are not on their. Let's see, it's like east flank. I'm not sure how which direction's up really on the, yeah, I think it's the eastern flank of that direction. Then you also have to look at, there's the FedComs. Yeah, so you're going to be seeing standard infantry in those. So something with a little bit of anti-infantry might be handy. So there is that. So, but in the overall, not a bad little vehicle for wheeled. All right, so I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elk Rex out.